is to show you the depth of devastation, of pollution, of the damage to our environment. So when your first briefing, you are told that out of the 288 forest reserves in Ghana, 44 of them have been completely decimated, to the extent that 9 of them we have lost control. Basically, armed gangs have taken that over. Even the Forestry Commission, their forest guards, not even the soldiers have entered it. At that point, the soldiers had not even entered those forest areas for 2 years. And you are told that the water levels, the turbidity levels, is supposed to be 0 to 500. But as we speak, it was 5,000 to 12,000, making it impossible to be treated. The Brim, the Pra, the Ankobra, the main water systems. Remember that 80% of our water sources come from the forest. And so when these forests are completely being destroyed, it impacts directly in these water bodies. And the turbidity levels, as I have described, were completely out of control. It was very, very clear that we were in crisis. And so that's the debt. The licensing regime, even the Minerals Commission, was completely out of work, because first, people have stopped, those who were impatient have stopped trying to even get a license, because if they were not politically connected, somehow they won't get it. It was only people who had access to power that were getting licenses. And some of the licenses were being issued without due process. And this is really just a summary of the issues we're dealing with. What do? We immediately first have to work to basically reclaim our 9 red zones that had been taken over. And I'm very happy that as we speak today, we have reclaimed that. Occasionally, they will try to go back. Like in the last few weeks, we have gone back to reclaim them, and we'll continue to do so to protect them. Now, we needed to take decisive action. And in this fight against illegal mining, it's not one solution. And let me be very clear. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is the coordinating ministry who's leading this effort. But we are necessarily have to work with the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, the Ministry of Local Government, and work with all the MMDCs and assemblies, work with the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice in terms of prosecutions once arrests are made. And so you could see how this work, how broad it is. I can tell you this morning that the measures we have put in place, and I'm saying that in the context of the debt, the 8 years debt we've been sunk in. So what do? We started off with 5 pillars as a focus area in dealing with this crisis. Number 1, this whole fight must start with the hearts and minds of the people of Ghana, including myself, you, everybody, chiefs, students. And so the biggest first thing we began to focus on was stakeholder engagement and education. Our chiefs, our members of parliament, key stakeholders, everybody in Ghana must be a voice against this matter, this issue of destroying our environment, which was basically destroying the very soul of our country. Engagement and education. And we've been very intense in that area, which is very critical. So when you see the minister moving from every region and engaging, that's one big pillar. Because ultimately, if everybody understands that it is a no-go area to pollute the water that gives us life, I think we have solved the problem by 80%. The second thing we had to do was to make sure we completely look at the crisis we face in terms of the licensing regime. We needed to completely reform that whole structure. And so when you see the effort we are making in not only the laws we have, but the policies. One, why is it that people are giving licenses and the first time they go to the district that they are supposed to go and mine, that's the very first time they are going. And the key stakeholders at that community,
I have no idea.
They have no role in it. We've changed that completely. We changed that. And in this new policy, you will see that will reflect in the laws that before you get a license, you start from the district. The Ministry of Finance now has something called commencement authorization. You are basically going to get commencement authorization, engage the stakeholders. Where are you coming to mine? In this my village? Which part? Is this where the cocoa area is? Is this where the water is? Oh, no way. It's not possible. Where are you going to mine? This area will be happy to have you. What type of mining? Okay, let's discuss. What will be the benefits to us, the community? Let's have some agreement. Then we will now give you an approval that you can now take to go and even begin the process in Accra. Before that whole application starts, you've already gone and you have the buy-in of the community, and we are very sure that you are not going there to destroy the environment, the land. And because fundamentally President John Mahama has made it clear, this government is not against mining. It's very critical. But we must get to the place where we mine responsibly and sustainably. And so that is the fine line we are drawing. The second critical pillar is to make sure, apart from reforming our licensing regime, make sure that we strengthen law enforcement. Once we are getting Ghanaians to understand, we need to strengthen law enforcement. Why have we established the National Anti-Illegal Mining Secretariat? We needed to make sure that every security agency we involve in this fight is involved in it because he understands the laws, the rules that guide it. He knows that these are the places to mine, these are not the places to mine. He knows the process of getting licenses. And we are engaging them in training. Today, as I speak, almost over 400 most people are undergoing intense training on the whole processes. And we expect every agency to go there and give them presentations. So they are not simply going to be soldiers and police with guns. They are going to be people who know exactly what they are looking for. So that's why we established and coordinate the effort. We've broken the glass ceiling of the security agencies to make sure that they are all singing from the same hymn book, working together. And that is really the purpose of that establishment. I talk about the degraded lands. 5,500 hectares of our forest had been decimated. Do you know, put it this way, think and imagine 7,500 football fields.
I can't. That's a lot.
That is how much we have to reclaim. And so a focused effort on basically dealing with this. And that's why the president has launched what we call the Tree for Life initiative, a comprehensive approach of reforestation and basically bringing back our forest and making it green again. The other focus is how do we turn our waters that are so polluted green and make sure that the turbidity levels that are completely out of control. I told you, 0 to 500, and we are now 5,000 to 12,000. Making it impossible. You know, we first started, and the gentleman was sitting here when I came in. He said, we heard the water system in Winneba has shut down. Guess what? Well, we heard a few years ago that the Takwa plant had shut down. And I say today, maybe you are in the north or you're in Ashanti, you've heard Takwa has shut down. You've heard a shutdown in the Eastern region, has come to Central region. We have to collectively stand up because it's coming to you. This is that serious.
Okay.
And
you've often said that
yes,
you are treating illegal mining as an emergency. So why not declare a state of emergency if it indeed is an emergency, as you say, That's what the people seem to be crying about, and that's why they are on the streets.
I think the president has given us a very clear answer to that. The government has the power at its disposal to take steps to deal with this. And I think that if you had listened to me comprehensively, one is the policy reform, one is the stakeholder engagement, one is to deal with the water, one is to strengthen enforcement. All of these things that I'm talking about, why did we establish the Blue Water Guards? And now, just in the last week or so, the president has made it very clear that we are moving a step that says that all the water bodies and the forest reserves are going to be national security zones. You know what that means? It's red zone, no go. And we are now preparing to deploy permanent security forces in these areas.
The water guards?
No, the water guard has been the first step. We've already trained 1,000. We are training more. We've deployed to the western, north, and they are making serious impact. What I'm saying is that the level of destruction that this new government came to meet, we are under no illusion that this is going to be solved in 8 months. But we are proud of what we are doing. We are seeing the progress. And at every time when we believe we have to strengthen what we are doing, we do. And that's exactly the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that we believe. And let me say that those who are really calling for the government to do more, we understand. Now, this is a listening government, and we are going to do more, and we appreciate it. But let me tell you, those who don't even want them to be talking, is those political apparatchiks who have caused the damage that we are trying to solve. They should really give us some break and give us a room. These are the people who have given almost 20-something thousand licenses, unprecedented in the history of this country, to political operatives, open the floodgate of our forests to be destroyed. I told you 44 out of 288 forests is decimated. In this short period of time, let me give you some statistics. And so when those political pundits, and I'm not talking about people who genuinely want the government to do more, we appreciate it. And we are going to work hard until we solve this problem. But, you know, for the MPP people who just damage this thing and we are trying to clean their act, they should give us a break. Listen, 1,400 arrests made in less than 8 months. Guess what? For almost 3 years, 845 arrests. Let me tell you how many people were prosecuted. 35. I'll give you statistics, okay? 440 excavators seized. Champagnes over 800. Now we've even given some to the Ministry of Agric. We are fighting this illegal money heads on. But, you know, we want the people of Ghana to stay with us. And they should take it from us, our heart and our soul and our commitment and what we are doing. And for those who genuinely want us to do more, we are saying that on a daily basis, we are checking our strategy and strengthening it.
Okay.
We've heard them about emergency, and we are moving to declare security zones. And the president is saying that all these are at our disposal. The state of emergency is at our disposal, but we believe that what we've laid down now must work.
You're arguing that what you've done since you've been in power mirrored against what the previous administration did, for which reason a whole number of Ghanaians called for a declaration of a state of emergency, which your party significantly also supported. It's not the same situation that we are in as we speak, and so some are hearing that the government says a state of emergency is not necessary.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Nobody has said that. In fact, the president did not say that. The president said we have to move one step at a time.
He said he will consider it as a last resort.
Yes.
Would you say we are the last resort?
We have not gotten to that point. I think our plan is working. And I'm saying to you, I was just on the Ankobra River just last week. 190 kilometers of the Ankobra River. I rode on almost 1/3 of it for 3 hours. And guess what? left and right. There were people who continued to do galamsey, pump the water out and pump the poison back into the water. And the soldiers,
and this was last week?
Yes, yes, of course, in some of these areas. Listen, this fight has taken over 6 regions with over 4 million people engaged in the art, okay? And I'm being honest with you. I am telling you that this problem is not going to be solved by Armah Kofi Buah alone. And it's not going to be solved because suddenly we come in and the next morning it's gone. You see that turbidity levels, the depth I've described, it will take time to come back to the 10 blue. It will take consistent effort. It will take the efforts of the community there. You know, when I left, what I did? I went to all the communities, I brought the chiefs, and I asked them, this is your community. This is where champagne machines that destroy the water bodies are being manufactured right on the Ankobra.
So don't we need what some call that constitutional mandate that is vested in the president declaring
and the
a state of
president has
emergency
the power
to push
to
the fight to
deploy,
the next
for
level?
example, this is his new move. He has the power to deploy the NIMOS working with all the security agencies permanently to some of these river bodies.
Can they freeze the guys in the forest? Because even the military were afraid to go into portions of those forests.
What will change?
And now it is agents who have been trained to be blue water guards who are going to be facing these people who have guns.
I don't think you want to listen to me.
I do.
What I'm saying is that we are now backing this up with permanent armed military. You heard me warning that we are moving another step further. And that step says we are going to declare all the water bodies and our forest security zones. And you stay there and engage in illegal mining activity at your own risk. That is the step. When the president said that we are going to use all the steps, that's what he meant. And so I'm very confident about the journey we are walking in, considering the depth we were sunk. And I'm not going to be talking politics and blaming. I believe in just bringing results.
Okay,
but I have said that look at the steps we've taken and make the judgment in 8 months. Compare how can people leave red zones for you and you come and clear within 9 months? And those people who have called the examen have the credibility and audacity to be talking.
Of the arrests that have been made so far, how many have been prosecuted?
The prosecution are at various levels of prosecution. And I think that the Attorney General is on top of this matter. And I believe that we are making a lot of progress in that area. As I said, you know, this fight is a coordinated effort. But I can tell you that all those who have been arrested are being investigated. And guess what is different between the past and the present? We have no calls from anybody, no power from above or anybody. When anybody engage in illegal mining, we don't care who you are, how political connected, we will arrest you and will prosecute you.
We've talked about reforms in the policy.
That's the difference.
Reforms in the policy and the laws.
Yes.
So let's talk about the LI that granted some people the opportunity to mine, and you've called for the amendment. You said that will be tabled before Parliament.
It is going straight to Parliament as soon as Parliament returns.
When Parliament returns. So is this an amendment or a repeal?
So everything that has been called for, this government, this very responsive government is dealing with it. You remember that LI was amended to take some aspect of the power of the president. The people, a lot of Ghanaians were saying that the NDC, you said you were going to repeal this. The president says, go ahead and repeal it. Guess what? The good news is that we still have guidelines that can help the EPA to do their work. And we are going to focus on the guideline and then comprehensively review it.
So is it
but
a
we have made a
repeal or an amendment?
We are going to completely repeal 2501, which was amended. That's what we are going to do. And as soon as the Attorney General is already ready, and as soon as Parliament can, we'll take that step. And so I'm saying to you, just look at our record within 8 months. That's how you judge us. Don't judge us by the depth that the Akufo-Addo government sank us in. If you do that, You are making a mistake.
When we talk about mining in forest reserves, for those who already have been granted the leases, what happens when this amendment or repeal comes to life?
I think we are stopping the bleeding. And that is why I'm very proud to tell you, we have not issued a mining lease, let me say mining lease in forest reserve. Okay? Every mining lease so far were issued by the previous government. Okay? And I think that where we are is very, very important. We are focused on stopping the bleeding. And that's what we are doing. We are focused on making sure that we can turn our waters blue and our forest green.
So
all the policies and the plans we have.
Are you committing
and it is working
to the people of Ghana that no new mining leases will be signed, especially in forest reserves, under your watch? Is that your commitment to the people this morning?
This is what we are doing right now. I've told you. I'm saying that we are focused on stopping the bleeding. And so right now, when you hear the initiatives, the Tree for Life initiative, which is focused on reforestation and bringing back degraded land and planting trees. This year, we targeted 30 million trees to be planted. Guess what? We are planting 60 million trees because we are now getting support from private sector support. We are focusing on the 7,500 football fields that has been decimated to start the process of reclamation.
Support also from foreign partners, including the Chinese government, the same Chinese that many Ghanaians have been unhappy with because of their involvement in alleged galamsey activities and also convicted nationals for engaging in galamsey activities. How do you come to terms with the fact that we're going to the same people who have been a part of the desecration to help with the solutions?
I don't think we draw a red line with anybody who believes that the challenge we face, they want to support us. That is different from ruthlessly dealing with any foreigner who breaks our law. And we are doing that ruthlessly.
Are we?
We are. We are. When I tell you we have 1,400 arrests in 8 months, that's what it means. As opposed to 800 arrests in almost 3 years by our previous government. And if I tell you that we've as we speak, seized 440 excavators, over 800 shamfans. We've mobilized Blue Water Guard in 3 regions, Savannah, Western, Northwestern, and they are making a difference. And guess what? Another pillar that is critical. We are also now providing a critical alternative. We've just launched what we call responsible cooperative mining program. And we are saying, and this is what the president is saying, you want to do mining, we have raised the olive branch to you. We are going to give you the training and build your capacity and work with you in working with large-scale mining companies. For example, we started with our proposition. You are mining responsibly. You have the best practices. In some of the areas, they have mining areas that they've abandoned for years. And there's a partnership we are working with them to release those lands for the communities they work with. It's going to solve about 3 problems. Reduce the tension, give proper training and support and build capacity of the local people to mine responsibly, leave the water bodies and the forest. And we are already launching this program.
Some see this as a reward for persons who have already perpetrated an illegality who should be brought to book, but are rather being extended an olive branch for destroying forest and water bodies.
That we are arresting people, and then when we arrest them, instead of sending them to court, we send them that come and do corporate. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we have launched a program, and we've gone to every community, mining community, and directed people who are engaged in illegal mining that this is the new path forward. And so we are not only simply going to train you, we are also going to build your capacity and also give you other alternatives. And so this program is very comprehensive. The difference between what we are doing now and what was done before is this. There was something called community mining program. We canceled it because in all the areas that this was launched, it was really community in name, but in practice, it was actually program that was set up by the politically connected people, and they left the community. And the community.
But we saw the chiefs at these events, and we had a running program with the Minerals Commission where we were brought regular updates, and traditional authorities were seen in the videos and the pictures that were shown to us here at the table.
I'll be happy to give it to you to read, where the same communities have comprehensively discredited some of these programs, the way it was handled. What is different here is, apart from providing the training and the capacity and the support from mining companies as partners, the community themselves are coming together to own these cooperative mining programs. And we are also making sure that there are punitive measures for anybody who breaks the law in this area. And so, one, we are stopping the bleeding, and we are providing alternatives, and we are also making sure that people who engage in illegality will be punished severely. And I'm saying it again, all water bodies and the forest reserves are going to be turned green and blue, and anybody going forward, President John Mahama has directed that these are now security zones. And if you do that, you go there to engage in illegality in a water body in the coming weeks and months, you do that at your own risk. That is our commitment.
Let me ask you one last question.
Yes.
Government has lifted the ban on the sale of state lands. It was to ensure that the system is rectified in the broken state that government said it was in. Has that happened? And what does it mean for the ban to be lifted?
The good news is that when the president announced it, he also added that the minister will take steps to make sure that it is implemented.
So you are now selling state lands?
No. So that's the point I'm making. What we are doing now is that we are taking steps to make sure certain critical areas that have been an issue are addressed. For example, we have a land investigations committee that has not completed their work. In all of the identified areas that we are looking into, the announcement doesn't apply to them until the work is completed. So yes, this announcement has been made, but there's no wholesale opening. We are still implementing the things that are tightening the system.
But you said public lands must not be sold. You've always said that. So is this?
But that's exactly the point I'm telling you. It isn't. For example, the reason this was important to be announced was that a lot of processes at the Lands Commission had come to a halt. We wanted the Lands Commission, but the Lands Commission has been given the guidelines on what they should do. It does not include selling state lands. In fact, what we are doing is to make sure that we plug back on state land that were sold by the previous government, and we are determined to do that.
By the end of your tenure, and perhaps by the end of this administration's this 4 years, what single measurable results should Ghanaians hold you personally accountable for?
My integrity and my commitment to this fight. I mean, think about this.
How do we measure it?
Yeah, I'm going to show it to you. I think that my focus as a minister is to make sure that I can finish this term, and I'll be remembered as the guy that, thanks to President Mahama, fought his heart out with the support of the people of Ghana to turn our waters blue and our forests green, to turn this turbidity level that has gone through 12,000, which is supposed to be within 500, to bring it back so Ghanaians can stop drinking poison. I want to be remembered that we fought so hard that the deformities and the health crisis as a result of galamsey. But more than that, I also want to be remembered that we add value to the mineral resources of our country. I've just directed the mining companies to make sure, for example, that we deepen local content and make sure Ghanaians are at the forefront of that mining industry. And it also means that I'm going to work with the mining industry. For example, have you heard mining hospital in Ghana? I want us to have a mining hospital in Ghana. I want us to make sure that every mining community has an airstrip where you can land. I want every mining company to have better roads. So we are working on a lot of fronts to basically transform mining, not only making sure we stop the degradation and the pollution of our water bodies, but that these final resources that will finish, we'll look back and say that this gold came to transform communities in Ghana. And it is because of the gold that we are seeing the asphalt and educated young people here. I just told a mining company, don't tell me that you employ drivers. I don't want to hear it. I want you to tell me that when you came to this community, you nurtured young people, and now all your engineers are all from the same mining communities. That's what I want to see.
Honourable Minister, thank you for your time with us this morning and the
Very
issues that you brought us up to speed on, from galamsey to state lands, and the calls for a state of emergency. Ghanaians are watching closely and will continue to hold you to your commitments.
Ghanaians must read our lips.
We'll hold you to the commitments.
We are working with them, and I think that they get it. You know, the people who are making the noise, they are genuine ones. I've said it again. And we appreciate that they should continue to keep the government on its toes to do this very important work. But there are a lot of noisy people that have no credibility. In fact, they should be hiding somewhere in shame. Those who cause the damage.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Including those who may be from allegedly from the political class.